what you don't have. When you are talking about integrity, you are really talking about the real person.
When you talk of integrity, you talk of honesty. To be honest. And to be honest means to be trustworthy, to be truthful. And politics is science and art of government.
Politics is about the people.
Yes.
And if you talk about it in a deeper sense, it has to do with how people take decisions on how to lead themselves.
It's good to know you are there. The National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is a bicameral legislature established under the Section 4 of the Nigerian Constitution. It consists of a Senate with 109 members and a 360-member House of Representatives. The body, modeled after the Federal Congress of the United States, is supposed to guarantee equal representation with 3 senators to each 36 states, irrespective of the size, in the Senate, plus 1 senator representing the FCT, and proportional representation of the population in the House. The National Assembly, like other arms of Nigerian government, is based in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. With that, I welcome you to this episode of Christians in Politics, and our focus today is the 9th National Assembly, current development. I have with me in the studio Barrister Kelechi Indukuba. He's a legal practitioner based in Abuja. Well done, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. And I also have in the studio Venerable Joseph Unwaya, the Director of Civic and Political Affairs of the Church of Nigeria. Daddy, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I remain Korede Akitunde, and this episode is about to start just right away. I want us to look at the National Assembly as a arm of government, and we'll be looking into this because just a few days ago the 9th National Assembly was inaugurated. Let me ask you, Barrister, under the Constitution of Nigeria, what are the functions of National Assembly?
Well, thank you. The National Assembly has enormous functions.
Okay.
You know, when you talk of the functions, people primarily zero in on legislation. But it goes beyond legislation, because even after legislation means making laws. They are supposed to carry out oversight functions to see if these laws are being carried out to the letter. So, but primarily, their function is to make laws for good governance, for peace, for orderliness of the country and its component units.
So, Venerable, you are a chaplain to the National Assembly. Are these functions as just being said? Do you think that is what is going on there?
Well, that is what is going on. Principally legislation and the oversight function. The question is whether it is being done right. I think that is where what we need to interrogate as the program goes on.
Okay, let me say that the 8th Assembly winded up June 6, and the new one came up on June 11. Barrister, let me ask you, can you take us through the journey of this transition? What you observed that happened?
Personally, I think the 8th Assembly did very well. In sense of being a robust assembly,
okay,
being active, being articulate. I think it's on record they have the highest number of bills. They produce the highest number of bills.
Okay.
But then the question also is how many of those bills were assented to by the executive.
Okay.
The 8th Assembly had a very frosty relationship with the executive, and that affected their working relationship. So in as much as they were active, they were very vibrant, but that cohesion wasn't there. So everything they sent to the executive was viewed with suspicion. Yes, so there was, that cohesion was not there. So it hampered a lot of, even the good aspects of the things they wanted to do. I think it hampered them. If they had a better relationship, working relationship, they could have done more. But then the 9th Assembly, it's still new. I'm an optimist. I want to give them benefit of doubt. We have all raised issues from various opinions on how the 9th Assembly came to be, or let me say how the leadership of the 9th Assembly came to be. But I want to sound optimistic. I want to sound optimistic that despite the failings, glaring failings, we noticed in how the leadership came about, I want to believe that let us for now give them the benefit of doubt and see how it goes. Mind you, in this country, people have installed people in government, and at the end of the day, they fell apart. So that's why I'm saying it's too early in the day. Let's see how this whole thing plays out.
Very well. Let me ask you. Many bills were passed under the 8th Assembly. The question some people are asking is it the number of the bill passed or the bills that have affected the life of Nigerians?
Every bill that is passed, that has passed through the National Assembly, the first, second, and the third reading, and it is passed to the executive, I can assure you, if it's assented to, and the executive is ready to run with that very bill, it will benefit Nigerians. I think we are just politicizing everything, and we are toiling with the sensibility of Nigerians, the electorates, who votes people and send them to the corridor of powers. The truth is that these people are there in the National Assembly to legislate. And when they have legislated, it is expected that the executive should look at it, because it's not a personal thing. It's not about what the executive wants. The beauty of democracy is check and balance, which is provided. And if you may hear this, the only element that was really missing during the military era is the legislative arm. Yes. The judiciary were still functioning, but the legislative arm were disbanded, they were not functional. So what really legitimized our democracy is this arm of government that we are toiling with. And that is why personally I have not, we're talking about frosty relationship. You see, I think naturally there should be no, frosty relationship should be the order of the day if there's going to be true checks and balance. That is where, even though I'm also an optimist like him, I have doubt whether we are going to make the kind of positive progress we're about to make. You see, if they say absolute power corrupts absolutely. If you have a kind of relationship, good relationship, jolly fellow relationship between the National Assembly and the executive, to the extent that it is what the executive wants that prevails in every matter, then we are back to dictatorship. So we must be concerned about that. See, National Assembly, if I may say, was a very, very successful National Assembly, because I've never in the history of this country seen an assembly that was so victimized from day one till the very last day. The peak of it was the stealing of the maize that was masterminded by powers that be. And you can see now that they have been handsomely rewarded from all indication. So a house that was so disturbed in that very manner were able to come out with so many number of bills. So in fact, as they have claimed, the highest number that the National Assembly have ever produced within in any section. I think we need to applaud them. And not signing this bill, well, I must say it is the right of the president not to assent to a bill and to also withhold assent. He may have his reasons. I'm not in his shoes. So it's not just about sitting here to criticize the president or criticize the government in power. Okay. I am not a member of any political party, and I don't intend to be. The truth is that the president have the right to withhold assent. But some of the assent that were withheld in the 8th Assembly really frustrated Nigerians, especially like the electoral bill. We knew the challenges that we're going to face as a country. And a bill was sent to the executive, to Mr. President, 4 consecutive times. And it was turned down 4 consecutive times. When we're even talking about forced relationship, the National Assembly, they have gone through all the procedure, sent the bill to the executive, and he returned it, highlighting some areas that they need to clear and need to work on. And they went ahead, worked on it because of the importance of the bill. It was sent back. The same thing happened a second time. They went ahead, they didn't quarrel, and didn't veto it. They went ahead and still dot the T's and the I's and everything. Then send it the third time. It was returned. Then they still work on it. Send it the 4th time because they knew what that bill was going to save Nigeria. The embarrassment it will save Nigeria. So at the end of the day, at the last point, what was the excuse? They say it is too close to the election. So, my brother, if we want to really help this country, let's help ourselves. Look at where we are now. We are in court. Many people have died. Confusion here and there. We are now talking about server or no server.
Over 1,000 cases
in court, which was not there in 2015. Are we making progress or we are going backward? We expected that if that bill had been assented to, many of the problems, the challenges we face in this last general election, we wouldn't have faced it at all. And the question of legitimacy of the present government will not be in question, in doubt at all. If they won, as they claim they won, it will be very glaring. If they did not win, if there's another person that won, the person would be able to come in and take over power just the same way it happened neatly in 2015. I think that should be the direction. We should be heading towards that direction.
What should be the expectation of Nigerians? You were about talking about having people being brought into the office, and still that doesn't guarantee having cordial relationship.
Okay.
What are you envisaging to happen with this night assembly?
Okay, let me first maybe clarify a bit. When I say frosty relationship, I personally don't expect the executive and the legislature to be laughing, drinking tea,
drinking champagne,
breakfast and dinner every day. Okay. In a normal democracy, there should be that check. You understand? But we were all here. The relationship from day one of the 8th Assembly, from the way the leadership emerged. Do you understand? From that point till the end of the session, you could see it marred the whole thing. So whatever,
despite the fact that
you understand, taking the senior president to court, dragging them over. So the relationship. So whatever came from the National Assembly from that point was now seen as no. These are from people we don't agree with. And they lost.
So just my brother, just 1 minute. Sorry to interject. If you really look at it, was the National Assembly at fault? They duly elected their leaders. They didn't allow somebody to force leadership on them.
That's what I'm saying.
And from the beginning to the end, they were under attack. They were being dragged up and down. So we should put the blame squarely on the table of the executive.
You know, that brings me to your question. Yeah. What do I expect from this 9th Assembly? That's why I say I'm an optimist. Let me come from the angle of, okay, fine. If the executive clearly frustrated the 8th Assembly because they felt these are not our people.
Yeah.
These are not people we wanted. Now the executive have gotten the people they want. Are you understanding?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm coming from that angle. Now you have gotten the leadership you want. You've gotten the assembly you want. You feel you can work with. From now henceforth, I don't expect to hear any more excuses. I don't expect to hear the president saying the last administration did this, did not do this. Mind you, Mr. President handed over to himself now on May 29th. Yes, no other person handed over.
No, the last government now was their government.
The last government is their government, so you can't blame any other person. And more so, they have a National Assembly they feel is amenable, it's what they want. So I expect progress. I expect legislation that will impact positively on the lives of Nigerians. A lot has gone wrong. In all truthfulness, a lot has gone wrong in the last 4 years. You can say even beyond the last 4 years. But let's stop apportioning blames. Let us now start looking at solutions. Now the National Assembly is in a good standing with the executive. I expect them to first and foremost look at the areas of things that are hurting Nigerians. Look at the area of insecurity. Look at the economy. Look at education. Look at health. It's embarrassing that you see a country of this nature. If you go outside and see how they laugh at us, that our public officers run outside for periodic medical checkups. If your leaders are going outside for medical checkup, what it means is that, okay, what is the fate of the common man?
Who
doesn't have such resources? If the leaders who are supposed to make laws, implement them, redefine the health sector, are not doing anything about, they don't have the simple truth, they don't have confidence in your health sector. They don't have confidence in the education sector because all their children are outside schooling. Every day you see pictures online, one going to do convocation with his child in a university abroad. It's embarrassing. So I expect this government, this 9th Assembly, to sit down. Enough of the jamboree. They have their work clearly cut out for them. Nigerians are impatient now. We are no longer patient. They should sit down and start working.
Do you think the election of the leaders of the House, from what feelings we are now getting after a week of the election, do you think it was a free, fair process?
That's subjective. I'll say subjective because, like, in law, we deal with facts. To me and you on the streets, it wasn't a free and fair process, in the sense that the executive, the party, overshowed their hands of manipulation in the process. All over the world, it's common. No president sits back. Even in the United States, we are copying. When they wanted to get their leadership of the Congress, Trump was very much interested in who is going to become the speaker. Do you understand? So it happens all over the world. But the difference in our own situation here is that we overdo things. We force things down the throats of Nigerian citizens and say, what can you do? The executive was very brazen in showing their hands of manipulation, in showing their hands of who they want and who they don't want. And they worked towards that. Now, that is one part. Let me pick out the House of Representatives. I think that is the one we have seen. The Senate, we can do conjectures whether there was vote buying or there was not, whether there was intimidation for some other opponents to step down or not. We were not part of the meetings, we were not part of the negotiations, we can't say. But the House of Reps, we can say with authority that we saw pictures of things like credit card, customized credit card printed. And people raised this alarm even before the election, on the morning of the election, said, National Assembly administration, don't allow the reps members-elect to come into the chambers with their phones. There is an arrangement for people to snap their votes and then snap this card and afterwards get so and so amount of money. And that was not done. And now even this morning, I've had some people have gone to court to challenge that process, that there was vote buying and other. So it wasn't credible, if you ask me. It was not credible. Maybe if they had not gone that whole length, the same people that emerged could have still emerged. But going all out to do these things they did now cast a very huge cloud of discredit on the process. And these are people who are supposed to be our leaders. These are people who are supposed to make laws for our elections to govern the whole country. Now, what is the credibility that you have that even your own election is marred by suspicions and doubts and accusations of vote buying? So it calls for a lot of worry.
Very good. Let me ask, what are you expecting from this night's assembly?
I'm an optimist. I'm not pessimistic, but in this matter, I'm not expecting much at all. Because I was so disappointed to see what happened, especially like the House of Rep issue he just referred to. Seeing when it was agreed that a secret ballot system will be used, seeing rep members after turn printing coming out to show, raise their paper, show it to the public, it was so shameful. Seeing them busy snapping, the same thing that INEC was busy trying to prevent the ordinary Nigerians in the street who wants to collect 1 naira, 10 naira, 2,000 naira, and all that we're trying to prevent a few months ago. The same House of Rep member coming to do it publicly in the National Assembly. What do you expect from such people? Those are the kind of stuff for people that will make laws that will benefit this very country. It shows, see, a man's word is demonstrated in his action, manifests in his own actions. And like the Bible puts it, out of the abundance of the heart speaketh the mouth. What we saw was a show of shame. It shows the quality, the caliber of people, the stuff of people that are coming to the National Assembly to repeat. It's not a new thing to me. I know that many of them are talks before, many of them are touts, many of them are really not educated. That is why I'm never at any time comfortable with this secondary school minimum qualification for aspiring to higher. When you have intelligent Nigerians, people who have paid their dues academically, they are in the street not doing anything, people have something to offer. Then somebody who is able to kidnap somebody now and collect ransom of some millions, then he goes for election in the next election, because he has money to pay his way through. Then that is why you see them behaving the way they are behaving. Many of these people are known thugs in their own area. People know them. But because it is money politics, it is a question of anointing. Once a big politician that is well known have decided to anoint, even if it's a hooligan that is ready to work for him, then he goes there. That is why we are where we are. So you don't expect me to be very, very optimistic, looking up to something positive to come. Why should I be very, very hopeful that a person that was publicly accused of masterminding the stealing of maize is now openly elected just some few months after to be the deputy Senate president? Is that what should get me elected? Is it the election of the Senate president Lawan, whom we know when the police and every person were attacking the National Assembly, attacking Senate president, dragging, disorganizing, creating that institution? Lawan was the spokesman for the party in power, always, supporting the action of the police, supporting the action of the executive, the assault, the public open assault against the National Assembly. He was always the mouthpiece defending. He's now the head of the institution. Did you see the picture that is in the social media where my brother, now old bended people will be together? Yes, now my brother, but it's a very shameful thing. He's going to kneel down to be greeting the president. Will even a house help do that? I have a house help. Does he kneel down to greet me? Does my house help kneel down to greet me? Is that the one? What law is that? Can that one veto? If Mr. President withhold his assent on any good law they make in that National Assembly, can such a person who is already kneeling down for Mr. President veto it? These are the issues. The quality of people that are there who say they are representing us. This is not, I'm not about party politics. We are about how Nigeria can be good. We are blessed with good large human resource and developed ones. They are there just wasting away. It's like the political door has been locked against them completely, and they cannot smell there. But you just sit down watching this kind of stuff of people say they are the one to lead us. Just look at what happened in the National Assembly. Okay, look at the leadership of the House of Rep. No matter what you say, the truth is history, record is record. You say, let's just sweep under the carpet what happened in Georgia, and the records are there. You say, let's just sweep it under the carpet because the person has been anointed by Mr. President. And you expect me to be happy that we are going to have a National Assembly that is going to work harmoniously. What I'm seeing is that we are pastors, so we should do breathing, fasting and prayers, as the Bible says, for our leaders, so that we can live a peaceable life, and so that things can go well. I prefer to be praying for Mr. President, that the Holy Spirit should envelop him and lead him and use him, for the furtherance, moving of this country. If Mr. President wants to go the other way around, I tell you, we have no institution to check that. As it is now, there's no institution that will check that. If he's just using good mind to work, to advance the cause, as he has said, he's going to take Nigeria to the next level this time. If he's doing it honestly, he says he will fight corruption. If they can make it a little bit more better than what happened in the previous 4 years, where it was perceived to be vindictive, to be selective and all that, if he can just make up to really pursue the anti-corruption agenda with his whole heart, God will bless him. We'll continue to pray for him. But if the executive today decide to go the other way around, Nigeria is already in trouble, because there's no arm of government that is ready to check. Is it the judiciary?
No,
Is it the judiciary that is going to check at this point? The judiciary they have been given a very big knock on the head. So anyone who wants to save his job now behaves himself. So we are really in a very tight angle where we have to be practical and not just be optimistic.
Let me hear Barrister before we go.
The parameters are not good at all.
Okay, quickly, let me say, why I keep saying I'm an optimist is, yes, on the face of it, it's glaring. The executive has a hand in the emergence of the present leadership of the National Assembly. Yes. But let us also not forget the fact that the leadership of the National Assembly is at most both the Senate and the House of Reps, not more than 30 at most persons. In the House of Reps, we have 360 people. In Senate, we have 109 people. Yes. Now, let us go beyond this leadership. After all, anything that happens on the floor of each of these, whether Senate or House of Reps, no member of the executive votes there. No member of the executive takes part in deliberations of each of these houses. So I think we should rather be holding our elected representatives more accountable. Each person to his constituency. Let us be holding our representatives more accountable to challenge whatever the executive is trying to shove down the throats of all of us. Now, another thing is that he has mentioned it severally about the maze and, principally the maze. Now, I feel saddened, or I felt saddened when that maze issue happened. But then, I have also, with time, asked myself these questions. What actually happened on that particular day? If you trace the history, Senator Ovioma Agege was suspended. Now he went to court, got a court injunction to return himself back to the floor of the Senate. Now on that particular day, he decided to come back to take part in Senate proceedings. The question I have kept asking myself, like I said, maybe I reason more like a lawyer. The question I've kept asking myself is, as at that point in time, Senator Omar Agege, who is presently the Deputy Senate President, was not part of Senate leadership. He was not part of Senate and National Assembly administration, I mean the clerk and all that. Yes. He was not part of the executive. Now, who had control of the security in the Senate premises, in the Senate chambers? If you go there, from gate, main gate, you can't come in anyhow. Now, how did these persons cross all the security points up to the door of the chamber itself? Who controls that security? Who allowed them in? Who paved the way for this to happen? These are the pertinent questions. He has gone to court to challenge the Senate, saying he masterminded it. It's still in court, so I'm being careful on what to say. The court has not said it is him that masterminded. But what I'm asking is that, on the other hand, this man can as well say, I was set up. Okay. People on the other side knew I was coming back to the Senate that day. Okay. And they control the security. Do you understand? In National Assembly and all that. They could have as well masterminded this thing to paint me black. To happen coincidentally at the same time I walked back into the Senate. Okay. Are you getting my drift?
Can I just bring in a point here? No, let me bring in a point. When the entrance, okay, finish. I will make my point.
Everything you're saying from your own point, yes, and from the point of the generality of every other person, yes, is from sentiments. I am speaking now from what you can say this is ABC facts.
Okay.
You didn't see the man talking with these dogs when he was walking in. You didn't see him live with them when they took the mace out. And I'm saying, who controls the security in the National Assembly complex?
Yes,
that's what I wanted to respond.
It's not his responsibility. It wasn't under his control. Today, yes, as DSP, you can say, fine, he is part of who controls whatever movements, but as at that date that thing happened, he was not in control. So I'm saying he can as well defend himself to say, I was set up. They planned this thing to coincide. The Georgia issue is very clear. There is a court ruling on it against the present speaker. Do you understand? So that one, you can easily say black and white, look at it. People have downloaded the ruling and said, look at the ruling. This man was indicted.
Can I say this quickly?
Yes.
When the entrance of the National Assembly was blocked, and when the whole world were crying out, this kind of argument came up. Oh, maybe it's the same leadership of the National Assembly or PDP that masterminded it. When they went to block Senator Dino Melaye's house and all that, people say no, it is Dino Melaye security, you know.
Anybody saying that?
No, that is what I'm. See, that's why that is why I say. Will never be allowed to happen. And they were you have the police, you have the DSS, all of them are there. Now, when you are talking about really who controls the security, it's really still the executive. It's really still the executive. Now, if you go there, I'm the chaplain there, I go there, I can tell you what is happening in that very place. Even before my ID card is renewed, I have to go to DSS office. They have a place there I have to go to for them to screen me anytime I want to renew my ID card. And to say in such a place, criminals were able to come in. You know that in my area they say when a small pikin shoot gun and the gun actually shoot, you know, an air that loaded that very gun.
No, fine. You're coming to my point. Do we now say, flowing from what you just said, that instead of singling out to say this particular man did this. If we tow your line, or if you follow from what you just said, now that even at that, the security within the National Assembly and everything is controlled by the executive.
But possibly from what
but when executive sent off
for a thief to enter into a community, they will always say that possibly there is an insider.
There's an insider,
the
leadership and the whole. In fact, there's one matter that I saw that the Senate were beat unanimous. Do you know where that issue of maize happened?
Yes.
All the senators felt actually threatened, and they almost unanimously condemned Omo Agege. If they didn't have it in good authority, majority would have suspended Omo Agege. But we are past that now.
Okay,
but the point now,
the same majority still came back to elect him DSP. So how do you
all right,
no, many of them are gone though. Many of them didn't come back. Oh, I hope you know that.
I'm sure you can be part of this.
Many of them are gone.
The numbers scrolling on the screen. We'll be right back after the short break. Don't go away, please. the lawmakers having big packages? I mean, money's running into billions of naira just for welcome package and send forth packages. What's your take?
Simply put, I think it's outrageous. I think it's outrageous in a country where the poverty indices level is so high, in a country where basic amenities are all broken down, infrastructures are all down, in a country where many people find it difficult to feed well. There is a difference between when you say 3 square meals a day. For me, I laugh, it's subjective. What you should ask is, what is the quality of these 3 meals?
Is the food square?
Yes. Is it really square or is it triangle? You understand? So you can drink garri in the morning, in the afternoon, and the evening, and claim you've had 3 square meals a day. So in a country where people find it difficult to feed well, and you now see few individuals appropriating, because it is them that appropriate this, appropriating so much to themselves, I think is outrageous. I think it's something that needs to be looked into.
Is this commission not the one giving them this money?
Fiscal responsibility. Yeah, it is their duty, but you now ask yourself, are they really, if this trend has continued and even increased, gotten worse over the years, now it now brings into question the Fiscal Responsibility Commission, the Salaries and Wages Commission.
Yes.
What are they actually doing? Are they thinking rightly? Do they have Nigerians at heart when they sit down and appropriate these amounts for few individuals? Now look at the Senate, former immediate past Senate president said the National Assembly administration should take his severance package and share it to charity. Leah Sharibu's family, 2 other persons that were killed by Boko Haram, children of senators who were in the 8th Assembly that died, the ones that are still in school and all that. Yes, I commend that. It's a very good gesture. It's a very humane. For him to have even thought about it. For people who are criticizing that, my question is, it is not only Saraki that got severance package. What did the other people do with their own severance packages? So they could have as well done it and let us now come and be saying it is political or it is not political. That's beside the point. But now some who don't understand the value of that severance package went on asking how much is involved in the. It's so much money. It is so much money. Are you understanding me? So you picture these things and you ask yourself, okay, this past 4 years, if somebody can just work for 4 years, because that is what it is,
yes,
and you're living and you're getting this kind of huge package as not retirement, that is what it means. You didn't also factor in the whole they made in the 4 years too.
Those that are even returning back
gets
the
it.
Same thing.
Yes, they get it,
and they will still get the
from the executive.
The entry.
I told a lawyer when we were talking about this. I said, if the president got severance package for 2015 to 2019, and he's continuing now, the ones in the National Assembly that returned got severance package for 2015 to 2019, and
they still get welcome package.
They still got welcome. Yeah, definitely. They lock them in hotels. They are giving them allowances to settle them in, as if all of them, almost all of them, don't have houses in Abuja already. They are still, budgeting money to all as freshers who are coming into a new session. So we Nigerians, that's what I keep saying. Till such a time that we move away from singling out elected officers to say, heaping blames on, and to a point where citizens really understand their rights to speak and act, will continue having these things going on.
Venerable, your thoughts?
Well, so much has been said about these packages over and over again. And I think we just need people with those strong political will to turn around things in this country. People with good conscience.
Good conscience.
What is not good is not good, and everyone knows what is not good is not good. You know, there was an attempt that was made at the beginning of President Goodluck Jonathan's administration. He attempted to want to reduce the salary and wages of politicians. But I use the word he attempted. But within few months, that no one heard about that terminology again until he left office. The same thing has been with I was expecting that one of the things that will happen, which Mr. President will also put a feet on ground, was to say, let the salaries and allowances of political office holders, in fact, cutting across. Let's not be talking about the legislators. Yes. In the executive, you see with the money that is being squandered.
You can't imagine.
Yeah, they are drinking it, eating it, swimming inside it. So it's just terrible. I expect something across the board. Then, again, Nigerians must be disciplined. I may both to say it everywhere. I have been chaplain, Anglican pioneer chaplain to the National Assembly since 2011. Till today, I have never gone to any senator. I'm speaking on air. I've never gone to any senator. I've never gone to any rep member to say, please, can you assist me as your chaplain? I need this. I only go there, pray for them, and go away. I never presented my personal request to any of them from 2011 till now, almost going to 9 years. So, if Nigerians can do that, then you can blame these people. If you go there and see the number of requests and demands also coming to these very people, it's
a huge factor.
It's a huge factor.
It's a huge factor. Nobody can do that with his salary.
With his salary. So there's so much pressure also on these very people. We need to understand this. There are so many people, political godfathers, that they are settling.
There are churches, there are mosques, there are villages, there are
you are on them left and right, bring money, bring that we need this, come and do this. Then you begin to wonder, where is he going to get the money to? And anyone that is not ready to do, they say, this will not be good senator, this one is not a good rep member. So I think we need a holistic overhauling of this Nigeria as an entity, a holistic overhauling. Honestly, the excess, let me use the word, the excess salary people are taking, excess allowances people are taking. If there's a government that can come to power to say, it's not good to go this way, if we cannot be living in a country where one person is earning in millions, then other people are not earning 1 naira at all. That is the meaning. Millions of youths that are not working, no hope of where, but there's another person in millions. And whether it's in executive, whether in the Senate, it should not go be. Let us be more so that we will not say this man is a local man. He doesn't know what is the value of naira now. Say cannot exceed 1 million naira.
It will even make the offices
less attractive. Then all this competition, killing, fighting, we suddenly go down. Then let's say the minimum paid person should be at least 50,000 and above. Do you know what is going to happen? the money that will be mopped up is enough to employ all the number of graduates that are roaming about in our streets. A person, I wanted to use a man of God. When I say a man of God, I'm not talking about pastor this time. We need a man of God. A man of God who has the conscience. A person, a child of God, who has the conscience, who will be really ready.
We don't need a man of God.
No, when I say a man, it could be you.
Consciousness.
No, wait. What I mean, that's why I say I'm not talking about a pastor. When I'm using the word a man of God, it's a dearth of words to use. What I'm saying, somebody who is socially conscious, if I may borrow your language, somebody whose conscience is alive, somebody who knows what to do, somebody who have the political will to make a change, somebody who will not prioritize his second term tenure, and because of that refuse to do what he's supposed to do, or third term. No, you see, somebody who will change this country, somebody who will come and say whether they scuttle my government, whether they are not going to come back a second term, I'm going to, this is the only term I've gotten, and I want to use it to, and I tell you, if we get second term, and if there's third term, Nigeria will give it to that very person.
Barrister, let's look at democracy. The Democracy Day in Nigeria now has been shifted to June 12th. That will be another another day. But let me say that how democratic is Nigeria currently?
That's a big one.
The lawyer go fit up for this guy.
Currently, Nigeria is just democratic in name.
Okay.
In name. That's the truth.
Okay.
Nigeria is just democratic because we conduct elections. Elections in quotes. Because even the elections, there are still a lot of flaws here and there. We have a long way to go. It's a long distance race, and the earlier we start that race, the better for us. We need to build institutions. Presently, I think we're focusing more on building individuals. We want to have a strong president. We want to have a strong Senate president. We want to have a strong Chief Justice of the Federation. We want to have strong ministers. We want to have a strong this and that. Nobody is talking of strong institutions. Will be independent. Strong institutions that doesn't bother who is on seat. The laws are there, the laws are there. I mean, we say we're borrowing democracy from the United States. Let us also borrow everything. Let's borrow the good things they are doing. Their laws are there, sacrosanct. It is there, it is there. It doesn't matter if it is Mr. Trump that is president today. It doesn't matter if it is Mr. Obama that was president yesterday. It doesn't matter if this party is in power or this other party is not in power. The laws are already there. It's like program on autopilot. You already know. If you do this, this is what you get. If you don't do this, this is what you get.
No manipulations.
No manipulations. But here we see people before even the organs. Let me take for an instance, I say they are fighting corruption. Before they go after any case or any individual, they first of all look at the body language of individuals who appointed them, the people in power. It's as bad as even the people around the people in power, and the people around and around the people in power. So the circle keeps widening. Now, where does it leave us? These institutions are not effective. They are not strong because they keep swinging, blowing hot and cold. You see them active today, tomorrow you see them lukewarm, and it's not helping the society.
All right, we are out of time. Let me just ask Variable this, and in just one sentence, your advice to lawmakers. their chaplain?
My simple advice is
especially the Christians that are there.
Let me advise all of them.
Okay. Yes.
Because in the chambers they forget about religion. So what I just want them to realize is that God has given them opportunity to be here this time, and they should not fail Nigerians. They should not forget that they are meant there to provide checks and to balance the equation of governance in the country. Once they forget about that and they begin to turn party lines in everything, trying to politicize everything, it will not all go well. They should know that this institution, the National Assembly, is what really defines democracy. Destroy it, there's no democracy in the country. And we are back to dictatorship, and we don't want that. So they must guide that, the sacredness of that institution jealously.
Barrister, in one sentence, your advice to Nigerian leaders and the citizens.
I would quickly say the leaders cutting across, legislature, executive, wherever you find yourself, let us start thinking more about Nigeria than about ourselves. I think the moment we get to that point of consciousness to relegate a bit me and mine and my religion and my tribe and my society and start thinking more of Nigeria, let's leave legacies, lasting legacies. We'll get it better. And on the part of the citizens, we need to get more conscious. We need to get more involved. I know, yes, a lot of people are scared, intimidation and all that, but we need to get more conscious. A society that allows itself to be intimidated, cowed into silence, is finished.
Thank you very much. It's nice having Barrister Kelechi on our program today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Venerable Joseph Unaya, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We hope to see you more.
We will come. if you call us.
All right. Well, when you get to the National Assembly, inform them of what we have been saying.
Tell us we wish them well, but at the same time we're expecting a lot.
That's what I wanted to say. To whom much is given, much is expected.
Yes, and that's when we hang it up on this beautiful episode for today. Join us same time next week on another week on Christians in Politics. God bless you and have a nice day.